Hi there. The purpose of this video is to show you how to find, launch, set up an account for Gravit Designer. It's a free online software, though you can uh, pay a monthly subscription for the enhanced professional version, but we're going to be sticking with the free version of Gravit Designer. So if you have seen the announcement on our class website, this is the image of the wolf head that we are going to be tracing. It's what's called a low poly illustration, although you can get into more complicated, fancy low poly illustrations. We're going to stick with a simple one of the wolf head. There are various links provided here for some extra tutorials, but I'm hoping this one will get you started. And then if you want to learn some more, there's lots of great tutorials out there for you. I've also given you the link for this wolf head here. So once we get to that point, you will be able to open that link up and be able to download the wolf. So we'll come back to that in a couple moments. So head over to Google Chrome. That's usually the preferred browser that I work with. And when you type in Gravit Designer, you will see that there is a free option here for you. And it doesn't matter whether you pick the pro or the free. It's all fine there. Now, when you get to the splash screen or this opening screen, you might want to take a quick peek at it and see some of the different things that Gravit has to offer. But there is in the corner here a start now, or if this screen comes up, you can just click off of it and head to the start now. It will prompt you to set up an account. So this screen will come up. If you already have an account, then you can see here where it says go back to login, you can click on that. And in fact, I already have an account set up, so I will click on that in a moment. And if this is the first time you've used the software, then use your school email address in here. That's what I would recommend. First and last name, password. Again, I would use the same as your school account just to keep it consistent. Click on the I agree and then create an account. You might need to check that email to verify the account. I can't recall, but if you find that you can't log in, you might need to check your Lakehead Schools email, the address that you used here, just to verify the account. Now, because I already have an account set up, I'm just going to click on that to go back to the login, and here we are. So I'm just going to put in my email address from school, if I can type that in. There we go. And then once that is in, and if it asks you about installing it, like the desktop application, just say not now. We're just working online. Now we need to set up a page, and I would just suggest just start with the paper size, and you'll see that there's US letter here. And it just gives you a page to get started on. Now, a couple things here. It will take you a few moments to familiarize yourself with the workspace here, but you might recognize things like the selection tool, and there's even hidden under that the sub-select, which is like the direct selection tool in Adobe Illustrator. We have a number of different shapes here that you can use to combine, similar to Illustrator, similar kind of Pathfinder tools are available here in Gravit. But we're not going to be working with those ones. We are going to be working with the pen tool. So when I click on the pen tool, you'll notice that it's called fill and borders. I think of like fill and stroke. There is a white fill right now on it. So we want to take the fill off. To do that, where it says 100%, just click and drag downwards, and you'll see down to 100%, and you see the checkerboard to indicate transparency. The borders or the stroke is left at one point, and that's totally fine. How does the pen tool work? You'll notice pen with an X, starting a new path. You can just simply click to place your anchor points, and then Gravit fills in the paths in between. Go over top of that original anchor point, and you remember you will see, let me do it one more time, pen with a circle indicating a closed path. If you want to get rid of an anchor point, just mouse over it, and you can click, and you see pen with the circle, or sorry, pen with a subtract, and it'll delete it. Anytime you want to get rid of objects, you can just click on them and delete them with your selection tool or the pointer tool, whatever they call that. Okay. For this first assignment, we're going to be using the wolf head. So we need to bring that in. So we're going to file, import, and we're going to place an image. So the language is just a little bit different than Illustrator, but it's okay. It's very similar. Well, let's get that low poly wolf head. Let's download that first. I've already downloaded a couple times, but we're going to need to do that as a class. So here's the wolf head. How did I get to that? It was right here in the announcement feed. I clicked on that. And then here is your cloud with the download arrow. Do that, and you will see it in the lower left-hand corner, most likely into your download folder. But if you're not sure, you can always go show in folder, and it will show you where it is. All right, back to Gravit. File, import. Let's place that image. And here you can see I've downloaded it 3 times. There we go. And let's place it. There is our image that we're going to be tracing. I think what we're going to want to do is drop the opacity of that image slightly, make it a little bit easier to see. So over on the right-hand side, you have appearance. We're just going to drop that down to about 70% will be good. And then over on the left-hand side, you can see here are our layers, and there is that wolf head right here. So we're going to lock that layer up right now, just so that we don't manipulate it and move it by accident. That layer has been locked. Now, grab your pen tool. Make sure that your fill is off. We've got our borders, and I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. You can see just below the view menu, there is the zooming in. So I'm just going to zoom in a little bit on this. And I'm going to start at the top of the wolf ear and pen with an X, so I know I'm starting a new path. And I'm just going to place my anchor points at the corners of the triangle. And then remember to go over top of my original anchor point, and you should see pen with the circle, and that's closing the path. One other thing I want to make sure I tell you about is make sure this use snapping is turned on, okay? That will help you when you are finding intersections. It will snap into the right, it'll snap onto the intersection a lot easier for you. Now, we've done our first triangle. We want to move on to the next one, but I know if I put my pen over top of an existing highlighted anchor point here, it's going to delete it. And that's not what I want to do. So just start at a different corner of your triangle. I'm going to start down here, and I'm going to work my way around. And you should see that it kind of snaps over top of that anchor point that's on that previous triangle, and close the path. There we go. Now move on to the next one. So I'm going to start here. And just continue to work my way around. I'm going to start down here. Your strategy that you use is up to you for drawing these triangles. And I'm going to start over here and continue to work my way around. I'm not looking for perfection here. You're just getting the hang. Oh, and when this comes up automatically, because autosave is enabled, save to the cloud, and that's totally fine. So, give it a name down here, head, and save. You don't have to worry about trying to find it on your computer. It is all saving on the Gravit server. So that's kind of handy. All right, so let's continue on here. Notice that there are some smart guides that give you a bit of a hand while you're doing this work. I'm just going to do a few more triangles here for some more polygons if you are working with more than 3 sides. And just continuing a little bit more here. Any point in time you need to move these anchor points around, you can always use the direct selection or the sub-select tool, as it's called here in Gravit. And just going to finish a few more, so bear with me. This does take a little bit of time to get used to, but then it goes pretty quickly after that. Just remember to not delete those previously drawn anchor points. Okay, I'll do one more down here. The snapping is very important. Make sure you've got that snapping on. Okay, once you've done that, I'm just going to go back over to my pointer tool or my selection tool, and I'm just going to turn the visibility of that wolf off and on, so you can start to see what that is looking like. Now, we do want to fill these triangles. So to do that with our pointer tool or our selection tool, we're going to click on the triangle, and I want to put a fill in it. So if you click on the eyedropper, which is just this little tiny little tiny circle down here, if you click on that eyedropper and I mouse over that triangle, it picks up that color from the image in behind, the photo in behind. And now if I turn the visibility, you can see that it's picked up that color. And so I can move on to my next triangle down here. And again, eyedropper, and I can pick up that color in behind. Or if I want to change the color, I can do that as well. Maybe I want to pick a different shade altogether, and that's fine. And I can do that. Grab my next triangle. Now, remember, if you click in the middle, there's nothing there in the middle. You got to click on the path. That's very much like Illustrator. Once you've filled it, you can then click in the middle. But until you've filled it, you have to click on the path. Grab the eyedropper and pick up that color. Do the same over here. Eyedropper and pick up that color. You want to change the color, click in the larger circle and pick whatever color. There's lots of different colors in the spectrum here that you can work with as well. Whatever you're wanting to do. I will leave that up to you to make some decisions. As we continue to move through these other triangles, you may say, oh, well, I want to use that same dark color that's up here. Again, grab your eyedropper and pick up that darker color and continue on. Eyedropper, pick up the color, and maybe you want to manipulate that color now. And so kind of got an idea, and now I want to change the tone of that color a bit, which you can do. Pick up this next one, this next triangle, and I want to use the exact same one. Oh, let's not do that. Try that again. And I'm going to pick up that color. So they're matching now. Turn the visibility of the wolf off and on, and you can start to see that you're getting your color into the wolf. Any point in time you want to save, you can just hit save on that one. You can also export it. You might want to be exporting it as a JPEG to Dropbox your work afterwards. You can certainly do that when you go to hand it in. So that is how we are working with the pen tool. And then you've got your pointer tool there. Do remember, if you want to move any of these anchor points around, just use the sub select and you can grab your anchor point and you can move those anchor points however you want to do that. So that's like our like the direct selection tool in Adobe Illustrator. And save. Any questions? Just make sure you let me know in class.